What up, everybody? Now, this Saturday, yes, this Saturday, Reality Wrestling has its next television taping at Clear Lake Recreation Center. It's going to be a jam-packed card. Boogeyman, as well as Bob Holly, yes, Hardcore Holly, who will be taking on the Reality Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, Mysterious Q, because he's joined the ranks of Stevie Ray Incorporated. But go to realitywrestling.com for more details. I do know there will be a Diamonds Division title match between Cinema and Strike. Strike finally getting her one-on-one opportunity against Cinema. Looking forward to that matchup as well as all the other matchups. But go to realitywrestling.com for more details. Now, this past weekend, but before I get into this past weekend, I want to thank everyone who watched my last video with my lady love, Samantha, as we discussed our impending road trip to Wizard World in Austin, Texas, which happened this past weekend. But I want to thank all those who did view that, and any that are new to the show or have watched the past videos. I really appreciate your support. I appreciate your feedback, all of that. Stay tuned for more interviews. But back to this weekend. We ventured to Austin, Texas, enjoyed the atmosphere and the food. Great food in Austin. I always love going to Austin. And we were there at Wizard World. And big learning experience for both of us. It was her first convention. She had the booth and the stained glass and whatnot. And, you know, we learned some valuable lessons. It was a smaller convention than we both anticipated. But she got a lot of great feedback and potential sales that will be coming in the near future. And she had some sales. You know, it was just good. It was cool to be there and to kind of be part of that and help support her as she has always supported me. So yeah, it was fun. I'm expecting good stuff in her near future. I'm not sure about conventions. She may do one or two more in 2015. But yeah, I mean, a lot of work and you know, road travel and whatnot. We were debating about going to the Inspire Pro show that took place that Sunday, but by the time Sunday rolled around and we were both knowing that we were going to have an early morning Monday, we figured, well, we might as well travel back. Both a little exhausted over the past weekend and whatnot, but still a lot of fun. You know, really wish I'd gotten to go see that show, but again, I was exhausted as well, so it wasn't a situation of like she didn't want to go. We both debated about going, but once we ate, we thought, well, maybe it's time to get on the road. So hopefully, maybe in the future, I can catch an Inspire Pro show. I you know, hear good stuff about them. Would really like to catch a show once I'm able to. Now, next week, I will actually have the man behind Doomsday Wrestling and a guy who portrays Tex Lone Star, my favorite promoter. Well, you know, at least promoters for Doomsday. But, no, I'm a big fan of Doomsday Wrestling and a big fan of Tex Lone Star. And so I'm having Gregory Vallet on the show, so be on the lookout for that. Real fun conversation. I am on the lookout to schedule some more conversations here in the near future. So we'll just see. You know, some it's scheduling conflicts, others it's just a matter of I like to do the face-to-face, sit-down type conversations. I don't, you know, I'm not necessarily looking to do Skype yet or you know, anything else outside of having a face-to-face conversation, which makes it a little difficult. But hopefully I can talk to some of the Reality Wrestling talent this weekend, or reach out to some others. You know, I've reached out to a few other people, so hopefully we will have them on the show in the very near future. Now, on to this week. Speaking of Inspire Pro, I have Steve O Reno from Inspire Pro, also one half of the ACW Tag Team Champions, and also a former RCW Heavyweight Champion when he was Steve McEnroe. We go way back. I knew him when he was an intern for Booker T's PWA before he got his start into wrestling. I also knew him in those early days. He was part of IWE, was a ref for me when he was still learning. Great kid, great guy. You know, we're good friends. There's also this running inside joke that he's my brother, Crash Pad DeMarco. And we talk about that as well. We talk about a variety of stuff from his wrestling influences to actually putting on a show at St. Edward's University. And we talk about some of that as far as booking and being kind of behind the scenes, being an intern, also getting into wrestling, some of the talent that he's gotten to work, and being a guy that's always been able to adapt to every situation. He's always had to kind of change his character everywhere he's gone, and gone through multiple changes and just on the fly. You know, he's done some great work on the indies, and he's a guy definitely on the rise as far as throughout the ranks of the independents. And we had a great conversation. I really enjoyed it. So, without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy my sit-down conversation with Steve O Reno. Until the next time, later. Right here.
Where got my like
taking the wrestling world by storm.
Conan pose.
Oh.
I'm on Conan.
Yeah. What's up? Steve O Reno.
Good to see you, brother.
What's up, man? It's been too long.
That's right.
Too long. Mom sends her best.
I know.
Oh.
It's been a while since
She's like,
no one calls me Crash Pad anymore.
No. My mom's like, have you seen your brother? And I'm like, no, Ma. I don't know where he's at. He's in Austin, like keeping it weird. And we're gonna get into Austin, but everyone has their very first memory of this crazy world that we're both a part of. And what was your first like memory when it just spoke to you?
As far of me with like
just watching,
with
watching. Yeah.
Well, I mean, watching as a kid, I mean, I was a pretty shielded young lad.
Okay.
I mean, I was an only child.
Okay.
You know, aside from our family, you know.
Yeah. When you could go on vacation from these.
Right, my other family.
Yeah.
I was their only child, and they shielded me a lot. I mean, It took a lot of convincing just to like watch The Simpsons.
Okay.
So you can imagine like
See,
they would pass by and see
action,
wrestling,
fighting and stuff. Yeah.
So I think I got into wrestling really late.
Okay.
Considering.
Yeah.
You know, because I was so shielded.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the first wrestling I ever saw was I was flipping the channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I passed SmackDown.
Okay.
And I'll always remember it. It stuck out. Triple H ran down to the ring and attacked Kurt Angle, an Olympic gold medalist, with a sledgehammer. And I knew enough to be like, this guy's an Olympic gold medalist getting attacked with a sledgehammer?
Yeah.
Holy crap, what is this?
Like, yeah.
And he's alive, you know? Like, and then I saw like the pedigree, and I saw the Big Show, and I'm like, how can anybody beat this guy? How can anybody be alive from that move? You know, it totally just engulfed my brain.
Okay.
And then it was one of those things I had to turn on when my parents weren't watching. And then eventually they'd walk by and see me watch it, and I think they got tired of telling me not to watch it. So
they just gave up.
Yeah. Eventually they just gave up, and then I found some friends who were really into wrestling, and that totally changed everything.
Yeah.
Wrestling. Sleepovers, wrestling parties, eventually going to shows with friends. Actually, that's a good memory too.
Yeah.
The first WWF event I ever tried to go to was on 9/11.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Wow.
It was on 9/11, and we were in school, and my friend always gives me shit for it because I said, man, that would suck if something happened and we couldn't go to the show.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah. 9/11 happened. That was the one thing that happened.
Oh, God.
And our parents, we weren't going to that show.
Yeah,
we didn't go to that show.
Yeah.
Even though it happened, we watched it from my buddy Sterling's house.
Oh, wow,
We were just
good old Sterling.
Yeah.
Good old Sterling.
Yeah, he was my friend who I fell in love with wrestling with.
Nice.
We said we were going to be a tag team one day, and, one of us became a wrestler, the other one didn't.
Hey, man, you never know.
I still want to get him to be my manager one day.
Nice, yeah. He definitely has a gift for gab.
But yeah, I slowly got into wrestling as a kid, and then I eventually found out that Booker T had a school in Houston.
Okay.
And I knew my parents weren't going to, throw the money down for the training there.
Yeah.
So I saw that he was looking for interns. I mean, I stuck, I did my research. I stayed on,
Yeah.
the little website that they had,
Yeah.
but I found that they were looking for interns, and I came up with what you would call like a wrestling intern,
Yeah.
resume. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know what to put, but I wanted to be a part of wrestling, so I put like I was a high school wrestler, I'm a big fan, I just put like media classes in high school I was taking, and stuff like that, and eventually Adrian Jones called me.
Okay.
Like, it was probably as close to like getting called by the WWE as a little kid can get, as a high school kid can get. Oh, hey, you get to work with Booker,
Yeah.
But that was my first personal experience with wrestling. So I kind of owed Adrian Jones, a lot, getting to meet all y'all.
Yeah.
Figuring out who George was up in Austin, We'll probably get into that later, but
Well, let's get to there because first you're an intern, doing all of that work.
Taking Polaroids, taking tickets.
Yeah.
Never got any like ring time, but still, I got to figure out
kind of the inner workings.
the inner workings of just a show.
Yeah. Which is probably more important to a degree because not a lot of guys know that end of it. They know the performance end, but they don't know a lot of times what it really takes for a company to really kind of function and make money, and the business side I think is
I feel like learning from the ground up actually helped me, stay smart and like business,
business
learn the business a lot better, because I literally became an intern to ref to, wrestler, and you got to learn all sides of it.
Yeah, definitely. So, you decided to, what made you decide, because you couldn't do it with Booker, you couldn't train at Booker's when you went to, I guess when you moved to Austin, you had found out about George's, you're going to college at that point.
Yeah, it was hard to make, I moved up to Austin around 2006, after I graduated high school, and I kept going to some PWA shows, helping out with Book, but it got hard to make it every month, and eventually I think they just told me they didn't need my help anymore, but getting to meet all y'all at Booker's, I got to figure out who George was, and George De La Isla, and I found his website and his number and got in touch with him, and that's where I began my training with him and Papadon, Ray Campos.
Okay. And how were those early days, like all the bumping and such? Because George, he broke me in too, and it was just kind of the style of learning how to bump, how to all the technique and such. Did you catch on fairly fast, or were you?
I think I was a step ahead of most beginners because I did 4 years of amateur wrestling in high school. I took a note from Kurt Angle. This guy's the best. He's a real wrestler. If I have that amateur background, I'd be that much better, and I am. I think I've still kept that like conditioning and that mentality when I'm in a match. Like not to, get blown up or lose. You lose my cool or anything. So. 4 years of wrestling I think really helped, and I was just super hungry at that time. I don't mean to sound cocky, but I don't know if it's really cocky because I was just the hungriest student there.
No, man. I can totally relate because like when I was there with Paul, and Russell, it was just we knew we were. I think not that I don't want to insult anybody else. We just knew we took it far more seriously because we were like. And I think it was a combination too of being told, "Oh, well, you guys aren't bad. You guys are pretty solid. Well, you need to learn psychology." But aside from that, it was like you guys have raw ability.
I was getting there before anyone opened the door. I was getting there, before the first student was there. You know, and then like I was the guy kind of dragging people along at the end of class to close up because I still wanted to go over more stuff. And they knew I was an amateur wrestler, and some of the older guys wanted to learn some amateur stuff from me. And so it became like a tradition at the end of class. Let's try to pin Steve. We had like amateur hour, literally amateur hour at the end of class. And all the guys would try to like collegiate takedown me, and most of the times I'd go through like 5 or 6 of them before I got too tired. Someone eventually rolled me over, and it wasn't just 1, 2, 3. It's like who can
Who could just get you on your shoulders.
It's that 1 second.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was fun, and I do appreciate the way, George's style.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older, I'm kind of one of the only students left there helping him out in Austin.
Yeah.
AAPW, by the way, if you're looking for some place to train.
Ah, nice.
But yeah, America's Academy of Pro Wrestling is kind of the newest form of George's school.
Yeah.
But like I said, I tell people and I tell new students now, it's really the best way to learn.
Yeah.
Once you start to pick it all up and you go back to the beginning, you learn. I mean, you realize why you learn that stuff in order.
Yeah.
You don't learn a clothesline until you learn how to take every bump there is.
Yeah, definitely.
Learn how to hit the ropes.
Yeah.
Because if you start taking clotheslines, you don't know how to take one off the ropes.
Yeah.
That could, that could hurt.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, so you kind of started reffing mainly. That was your kind of your start. How was that? Because I know you aspired to be in the ring wrestling, and you're one of the, you have amateur hour and whatnot.
Yeah.
But still to be a ref, like how was that for you in those early days?
I mean, it was another important step to learning your way around a ring.
Yeah.
Just like interning, I got to learn outside the ring. I worked my way towards the ring, ring positioning and learning how to stay out of a wrestler's way is a really important part of being a ref,
Yeah.
And also learning cues, and it's really it's a good beginning into, spots, practicing, being at the right place at the right time for certain things, because when you become a wrestler, you have to remember all of that.
Yeah.
A ref might only have to, really remember a few things, other than that, you're just reffing a match.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that, but there's a lot more to that. It's a lot more to it than that.
Okay.
He's the third storyteller in
Yeah.
So, it was just, I can't imagine not being a ref before being a wrestler. Just then being a wrestler, where the ref is, and that a good ref is going to stay out of your way.
Yeah.
And, you can learn to trust a good ref, and I think I was a pretty good ref. I mean,
man, we had you at IWE for a bit, and I mean, you were there throughout pretty much the entire run.
Yeah.
Just a fun time.
I loved IWE.
I
was proud to be the senior ref of
man.
With my little headband and everything.
Getting chants and such.
Oh yeah, for sure. I wanted to be so good that I even studied my ref matches.
Nice.
I even went back and watched my ref matches and was like, what could I have done better there? And I could have done better. I did mess a few things up. I'll never forget. Adrian got mad at me one time for being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I just never let that up. And I think that helps me just push to get better. I'm never complacent. I'm never happy. So. That also helps.
Now, you made your actual, was it your wrestling debut at St. Ed's? What? Tell me about it.
Well, that was the debut of Steve.
Yeah.
I've done a few.
No, well, I mean, when we're all starting out, it's kind of like it's the learning tool. Like, all right, well, let's stick you out there.
Try something, see if
just so you get comfortable and kind of get your feet wet.
Yeah. So that was kind of the first show as Steve, but that was for those who don't know, that was a show that was run at my school, St. Edward's College, University, for a class of mine. It was,
really? What was the class?
The class was Event and Venue Management, and it was all part of my digital media degree, which I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with.
Yeah.
I'm basically Randall from Clerks right now. I work at a video store with video games and movies and all that stuff. So I'm doing something digital media. Anyway, event and venue management.
Yeah.
And the final was basically a group project where we put on a show.
Okay.
And everyone in the digital media degree was either a musician looking to get their band off the ground, or somebody looking to make independent film, or you know,
yeah. Just a
everybody had
way.
some outlet.
Yeah.
I was just a wrestler, and I kind of picked it because I told my counselor I was into like music and film and television, even video game developers. Like that's all video. That's all.
No. That's a good. It's a very good. You know, area of study.
Yeah, especially for Austin.
Yeah,
but,
man.
Like I'm still looking.
Trying to figure
because
out.
I don't have that niche, you know. Like I don't know how to make movies, or I'm not a musician, you know.
I've always thought, because I'm going to have Tex on the show at some point. If you could do like a Broadway multimedia wrestling show, like that had a story arc, and it had screens, and it had video, and it had like just a complete. I always thought if IWE had a budget, a severe budget and green screen, that we would have just made.
Turned it into like
plays.
a wrestling opera.
Yeah, man. It would have we'd have a narrator. We'd have
absolutely, yeah.
Oh man, it was just.
I dream about that.
Yeah. So that I always I've told other friends to do a tribute show, like call it Mania, and it's just you reenact all the WrestleManias. Like you just pick one. Yeah. Everyone plays a part, and you just. And you have like a little you pay homage to it or whatever, but.
I'm full of ideas like that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I me and my girl have been talking about me going back to school, and it's like, well, what would you want to do? And it's like, well, man, I would love to do this stuff and just create art in a way, you know, and get paid to do it. And I mean, that's. So what was it like having to? Because in essence, you're organizing that particular part of the event. So what was that like for you? Because now it's not. I mean, you have kind of the internship to kind of draw from, and you've hung out with me and like seen me when I try to book stuff and like, oh,
absolutely,
crap. What do we do?
Let me tell you that I have an all new respect.
Yeah.
I did have an all new respect for bookers, promoters.
Yeah.
Just trying to put two matches together.
Yeah.
In a, show situation, I mean the show we put on, there was bands playing from the school,
kind of like a fest.
It was a little mini one night fest. You know? The bands played, and then they had a screen set up, and students showed their films. They even had the final guy that played. I feel really bad. I lost his name, but he was a rapper, and now he's really big.
Oh wow!
He's really big.
Okay. So he took his what did he learn?
If I can remember, you'd be amazed because like he's on the radio now.
Well, here's the thing. Like once they put out the video, you could always go, "Remember that guy? Here he is," and then
Yeah. But yeah, I was basically in charge of putting those two matches together because everyone knew, like they knew some bands, they knew some filmmakers. I think they even had some other art being displayed. It was just everything art, and wrestling.
Yeah.
Almost 2 weeks before the actual show, I kind of like awkwardly raised my hand. I'm like, well, I'm a wrestler. We could have some wrestling, and everyone's like, whoa, yeah, cool.
Nice.
And they're kind of like, we over-planned our budget for this show. All these bands were way more than
Yeah.
They were the most expensive part of the show.
Yeah.
So when it came to wrestling, they just asked me how much,
Nice.
How much? I was like, well, this much for the ring, this much for the wrestlers. And I kind of named more than I'm used to, and they were happy to comply,
Yeah.
But just putting two matches together and finding, fitting them in between that, it was, with who I had, that alone was, like, stressful enough.
So who was, because I know originally, because, little known fact, I went to St. Ed's, and originally you had approached me, and I'm like, man, I just can't. I have a schedule conflict. Who ended up being? Was
Team St. Edwards. We were going to be.
No, yeah, dude, we were going to be the Hilltoppers, man. We were going to probably could have gotten the mascot to come out with us. Oh, man! Missed
I
out.
just procrastinated.
Yeah, we'll just have to do.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe you get called back for like an alumni function, and you're just like, oh, let's put the band back together.
Yeah.
But you had Ryan and Adrian. Were they your
Ryan and Adrian versus myself and Jojo Bravo.
Jojo Bravo?
Jojo Bravo, my big brother, my other big brother.
That's quite the legend. Jojo.
Yes,
Jojo is quite the legend.
He became like my unofficial like sensei while I was there. Like,
yeah.
When we didn't have class, I went to the ring with him to practice stuff.
Cool, man. Yeah.
You know, like,
no, it's good, man. It's good to have someone that gets you, that gets that, and more, that just loves doing it. I think, again, when me, Paul, and Russell, and a few others, just to go to practice, and not, when we had Darren around, like even Darren, who, at that point, just brittle ankles. I felt so bad. Sometimes like you just get freakish accidents.
Really?
But yeah, once he was healthy, man, it was just fun times. Because it was like, that was the purest time. You didn't have to worry about place on the show, pay, or anything else. It was just like, man, I'm just here with my boys. And, always a good time. Like, those are some of my fondest memories. Just having Saturday at noon, meeting up with Russell, like classes at 2 p.m. So we had like 2 hours to... Let's go over the basics again, man.
I'd kill for a Russell practice.
Yeah, man. Russell, just awesome. Because, again, he was like 6 months before me. So and he'd already been on shows and did so many characters. Like, talk about a guy who just had a range. And every character was unique. And every character, like, brought something different to the table.
Didn't he create the American Eagles?
Yes. Yes. He is the unofficial... he's the Grand Poobah of the Eagles. Yeah, and so many have worn that. Yeah, I think he's Grand Eagle. I think this is unofficial. So you went to RCW as Steve McEnroe, right? That was your... And talk about that, right? Because it was kind of one of those things, they brought you in. What was the atmosphere there? Was it like you knew you were going to get a long run there? Or was it your first time there, you just had to impress and make sure that you... how was it?
I kind of treated it that way. I never, planned too far ahead.
Yeah.
Putting all my what's the term? I'm drawing a blank here. Putting all my coins in the
putting all your eggs in one basket. Yeah.
I was gonna say all my coins in one fountain.
Okay,
is that like a thing? Can I start that?
Yeah, I think you can. It's the same concept.
Yeah. But,
coins in a fountain.
The first experience there, I went to a Funaki clinic.
Okay.
That was when he first started helping them out, training with them. And literally all I did was get in the ring and show them my rolls with my red, white, and blue sweatband on.
Okay.
Just one set of rolls, got out of the ring, and Brennan Oliver, the promoter, said, "You look like a tennis player.
Nice.
We're going to make you a tennis player."
Cool.
And, this might be, spoiling Steve McEnroe, but I don't know the first thing about tennis. Never have.
Okay.
So I said, well, I got this one character I do, and pretty comfortable with it. No, we're going to make you a tennis player.
No, you look like a tennis player.
Yeah.
And you do look like a tennis player.
With the headband.
With the headband and the shorts.
I brought it on myself.
Yeah.
But they had a show that day to showcase, everyone there. And I had to go out to Academy and find some tennis stuff. Put an outfit together that day.
Nice.
It was probably the worst Steve McEnroe's ever looked because it was khaki shorts.
Okay. Yeah, you just bought it. Yeah, you were just trying to find whatever you could get last minute.
But it was easy to hate, and I did,
Yeah, well, you just send yourself apart. Just kind of roll. Well, kind of like a lesson in just being prepared, man.
Yeah.
Just like take whatever they threw at you. Didn't like. Right. You could have been like, well, now, man.
I learned a lot.
I do this.
Yeah.
Which is the mistake of a lot of guys sometimes. It's like a lot of guys that I hear when or the criticism of like WWE, oh, well, they'll change a character. It's like, but if the guy's really good, it doesn't really matter what they throw at him. Because I think you're pretty flexible with whatever you've done. You've always had kind of this, man, whatever you need for the show, which is really a great asset to have, a great mentality to have.
I feel like I need to gain a lot more muscle before I send my stuff to WWE. I just feel like I'm not in the shape I need to be in.
Yeah.
But I'm confident and I'm gonna approach them and tell them that I can work any gimmick you give me.
Yeah.
You know, from the experience, and anyone who knows me knows how much stuff I've done.
Yeah,
you
man.
know? And I'm confident in that. Like,
Okay.
if they said, you know, be a chicken, I'd be the most
The
convincing
greatest chicken ever. If
they've ever
the
seen.
bunny, you'd be the
Yeah.
greatest bunny.
Yeah.
Ever. Oh yeah.
Just thinking now, I got a bunch of bunny ideas.
Well, there
you
you
know.
go. There you go. So,
Kip up bunny, like top rope missile dropkick bunny kip up.
oh my God.
Like,
And then
yeah.
hip hop. But at RCW, you got the, you won the heavyweight title. What
That's right.
titles did you win over there?
Just the heavyweight title.
And how was that?
My
How was that?
first-
Who'd you beat for it?
Well, let me just say that first match with Steve McEnroe, I wrestled Wheezy Woo, and it was not. I mean, it wasn't all it could have been. You know, I mean, it was in my defense, it was my first time ever wrestling outside of my first gimmick.
Yeah,
You know, and it was hard.
yeah.
And heel on top of that, it was my first match ever as a heel.
Yeah, because you've been predominantly baby
super
face
baby.
through. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Ultra baby. It's
right.
crazy how much
It
of
was
a
hard to not.
And then
get behind my
like
first gimmick,
to walk into the tryout with or the seminar going,
Yeah.
well, if they pick me, this is the guy
They
I
had
do.
confidence enough in me to put me on the show.
Yeah.
You know? But just Steve McEnroe just didn't deliver the first time. So when I came back, they had me ref for a few shows.
Okay.
And it was funny because the show right before they brought me back as McEnroe, Lance Hoyt went on a rampage after losing the heavyweight title, and he chokeslammed me. And to this day, it's one of the craziest moves, maybe not painful moves I've ever taken, but one of the craziest moves I've ever taken.
Yeah.
Because you know Lance, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
I could hear the wind passing my ears as he slammed me down on the mat.
Oh
It
God.
was-
Yeah.
It's the most insane choke slam I've ever taken.
Yeah.
And that transformed me into Steve McEnroe. Like, I turned into a tennis player the next show. And
Nice.
those fans had recognized me from the last time I was McEnroe. And even though it was like 4 or 5 months later, and Brandon said, we're going to put you on the show, you're going to do this. I was in a tag match. You were heel last time, but let's try to get you as a face. Let's try to get you over with the crowd. And I said, okay, I'll try to get this cocky, goofy-looking tennis player over. But sure enough, the crowd ate it up.
Yeah.
And slowly over a 2 years' time, I can say that I made that tennis player in short shorts the most over thing on the show.
No, I watch because every so often they put out a video wire here and there.
Yeah.
And I definitely check in on you from time to time on that because I was like, wow, man, he's doing some pretty good stuff. Because I mean, just the overreaction to a lot of things. I mean, we're so animated, and again, man, just such a good, solid guy in there.
Yeah, I was kind of uncomfortable at first,
Well, yeah, anytime you
but-
got to embrace a change like 180.
Yeah,
and then,
it only helped me grow that much more. I had different kind of experience. It was a different crowd. I got to work different guys. I grew a lot from the matches I had there with those guys. I learned to I got comfortable with my moves and wasn't just trying new stuff out every time. Like I really figured out how to put a match together there.
Okay.
That and working at PWA really helped me.
Yeah.
Good. Both places have great guys to work.
Yeah.
So.
What was it like winning the title? Because I mean, RCW's history, it's a pretty, it's a pretty good roster to be, or a pretty good company to be a part of.
The title has
a lot of weight,
yeah.
and it's because of guys who've carried it. I mean, you got obviously like guys like Faith and Hernandez, guys who are really well respected, guys who've done quite a bit in the business to carry it. I mean, honestly, it's
like
irregardless of what a lot of people want to say. They might want to diminish holding a title, winning a title, because again, that's just kind of the nature of the business. But at the same time, when you're the guy and they give you the belt, you're the guy.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, really, for you, I'm sure it was just one of more than a pat on the back. It was like, vindication that, okay, I took this character that you guys
totally
kind of threw on me, and look what I've done. So I mean,
Exactly.
who'd you beat for it?
Steve Delico Jr.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
wow,
And,
man.
it meant a lot because of kind of the build-up I had that whole year. I was in 2 cage matches, and
Okay.
I was always
That close.
I was always that close. The first title shot I had, actually that was the first title shot I had. No, it was the second. I had several title shots. My very first was against AJ Summers
Okay.
in a fan strap lumberjack match.
Oh God.
Yeah, and I was the
The bad guy.
the good guy.
Oh, the good guy. Okay.
Yeah, the
Okay.
crowd loved me in that one. I went around and shook everybody's hand. And
Okay.
made sure they all liked me, and that was a really good match. That match still is on YouTube, I believe.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Nice,
And,
nice.
But then I had a cage match, and me and Jingo Wallaby jumped down at the same time. So we were supposed to be in a match for the title, and Jingo got hurt, and then Michael Faith took his place, and then Hernandez was put in that match, and I lost that when me and Hernandez were fighting over the title on the top of the ladder. He pushed me down and dropped the title on Michael Faith, who was laying in the ring.
Oh
He was
wow,
just laying
great
out.
finish. That's
Yeah.
cool, man.
So
that sounds really
I
good.
kept getting
So close, yeah,
so
like
close, so
your
close.
fingers on it, yeah.
And then after that, me and Michael Faith had a series of really awesome matches.
He's solid, man.
He's really
I've only been in the ring with him one time, and he was a reality wrestling, really doing some bang up work there.
Yeah.
I know he's back at RCW, but the one time I got to face him, man, like I remember Adrian and Sam went, and they always joke about how much work I'll put into a match, because
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm the entertainer. Like I'm there just
Uh-huh.
I'm the loud jack, guys. It's not I don't have to be serious. I know what I do. I'm a
Yeah,
personality.
I mean, if you can get away with it,
I can get away with it. But at that time, I put my worker boots on because I really wanted to see. Because Faith, though, even at that point, I mean, this was a few years, like 6, 7 years ago, he was still wrecking through guys. It was just like, man, what an honor to work that dude. But
the first
solid
match,
guy, man. Real
the first
solid.
match we had was after that ladder match
Okay.
for the title, and Chavo Guerrero Jr. was at that show,
Okay.
and it was 500 plus. They ran out of chairs.
Nice.
It was probably the biggest show I had worked at that time there, and they had a meeting before the show, and me and Faith had a great match planned.
Yeah.
And well, I had a great match planned. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
we obviously are fighting, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I had some ideas, and I knew it was going to be a great one.
Yeah.
And so we had a
You had a
meeting.
good strategy.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
knew what to expect from
I
him.
knew if he was going to do something, I had a counter for
Yeah.
him. You know? But we had a meeting before the show, and Hernandez asked if anyone had anything to say, and I was really just high on myself at that point, so I raised my hand and said, "Yeah, I just wanted y'all all to know, Faith and I plan on stealing the show, so good luck to all of you." And there was a silence for a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, maybe that was not good."
Maybe I
But
see.
then I see Chavo look up, smile at me, and just start clapping.
Nice.
So I knew I had done something right.
No,
But
man.
getting that
It's
match-
always good to throw down the gauntlet.
Yeah.
I think even
But we did.
yeah.
We did steal the show.
Oh, awesome,
I,
awesome. Were you guys the last on the show, or was it?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The main event was, I think the main event was the Headhunters
Okay.
versus Chavo and Hernandez.
Okay.
That
Okay.
was the main.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But, we definitely stole the show.
Okay.
And maybe for the wrong reasons. I had a big dive planned. And that was the first time I almost died in RCW.
Oh God.
I did a springboard jump. I ran towards the corner. Faith was on the outside of the ring, near the ramp. And I jumped from the second rope to the top, and I was going to do a flip to the outside on top of him. But when I got to the top rope, I managed to springboard just fine. But when I got to the top rope, I realized I was way too close. He was way too close to the ring. And so when I went for that flip, my foot slipped, and I hit the guardrail, the stairs, and the floor.
Ouch.
And I had my mom and dad and my aunt and uncle in the audience.
Oh,
And as
God.
soon as I hit, the crowd went dead. And I had my uncle, who is a doctor, jump the barricade to come check on me.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was pretty surreal.
Yeah,
And
wow.
just to make sure everyone was selling it, I didn't even tell Howie I was fine. The referee.
But you were like the whole time you were okay. I mean, the bump was.
I was dazed, and I just couldn't believe I had.
But you survived it, wasn't it?
Well. Yeah. And now since that time, I'm a big advocate of taping your wrists, because I probably would have broken both wrists if I had not taped my hands up.
Wow, man.
Yeah, I mean, I stopped myself from the floor with my hands.
Oh, God.
And I was walking like this for 2 days, like I couldn't move my hands.
Yeah,
driving was terrible. Like,
oh, man.
I felt like I had two broken
Yeah, because you probably sprained them.
But everyone was telling me to stay down and take the count out, but I wanted to finish this match we had, so I got in and we did the finish, and it went over twice as hard because everyone thought I was dead.
Well, yeah, you take
After
a big
that,
dirty spill.
Then he lion salted me, and that was like the ultimate death, you know. So after that, Steve McEnroe became more than a tennis player. He became a symbol of just never dying.
Yeah.
And then got this beauty in a cage match where I almost bled to death. You know, I'll keep that story a little bit shorter.
Yeah, I think I saw the aftermath of that. Yeah. There was you couldn't see any skin. It was just blood. You'd had the crimson mask.
And to top it all off, I was wearing like my white outfit that day. Yeah. It was great.
No forward thinking.
No.
You're like, no, this is not a cage match. I'm still gonna be in my gimmick. It's cool.
My hardcore.
Oh man.
Yeah. But I just proceeded to get closer and closer, and I had probably my best match, probably one of the best matches of my career, against Seco Delico. It was 2 out of 3 falls.
Wow.
And again, it was tied.
Yeah.
And it came down to the last fall, and I think that's when I finally let everyone know I was heavyweight title worthy.
Yeah.
And I won the title the next show. It wasn't even like an official RCW show. It was kind of a spot show at Heroes and Collectibles. It's like a comic shop.
Okay.
I was dressed up as Batman.
Nice.
Not expecting to win the title. And sure enough, that was the show.
Wow.
That they decided to put the title on.
Well, they must have. I mean, sometimes, man, it's just the performance. Make your losses better than your wins a lot of times, because you never know. I always tell guys, man, you just gotta win or lose. You just gotta go out there and connect enough, and then really the promotion's job is to hear it and go, okay, it's time, and not really even, when they put it on a guy. Even when I put it on a guy, like Ryan, for instance, going into IWE, I think I was like, oh, it's going to be VIP. I thought that was the guy, because it was the first show was built around him. You had the VIP section. And that was my mindset going into it. I was like, well, he's a former PWA guy, former PWA champion. He's worked some names. I know he's going to bring every ounce of being to be there for me, and I'm going to greatly appreciate it. And then I was telling guys to do.
And Mr. B wasn't available.
That's right. Because God knows what I would have done. But I remember telling guys, all right, y'all take the camera, just get yourselves over. It's the first show. Get yourselves over. Get
yourselves over.
Just get yourselves.
Why was that not the IWE T-shirt?
I think it was going to be this T-shirt in season 2.
Yeah.
But I remember, and I really wasn't paying. I didn't direct them. I let them direct themselves, because I felt like, make it your segment. However you want to do it, just do it.
Yeah.
Outside of Q's. Q's was the only one I directed.
Right.
So Ryan is on like the crow's nest, and he cuts this just amazing promo.
It was in the like the introduction to IWE.
Yeah, it was like, what is the IWE, or what's independent? Yeah, it was
Ryan's
the very first one.
The best.
Yeah.
I mean, it captivated.
And it was. It was one of the second or third ones in the order, and I went, that guy's gonna be the champ. I'm just gonna. And from there, it was awesome. But yeah, man.
Ryan can show you how good he is before he even starts wrestling.
No, all his stuff, man. That crowning of the champion, like the night before, his whole like, because I was the one asking questions. getting like 5 questions for everybody. Well, what would it mean to win the title, so on and so forth. And he knocked it out the park again. But so after your RCW run, you go to ACW.
Mm-hmm. I kind of was there.
You doing both?
I started at ACW while I was heavyweight champ.
But were you? But you weren't Steve McEnroe.
No, I came in just as Steve.
Okay. So let's talk about the differences between the two locker rooms. RCW, and I've never been there. I've been to ACW. Again, I look at ACW's blueprint, and I always say that's what every indie company needs to do. Is like, as far as getting the most out of all your talent. Like, I think watching Darren is what made me go, I want to be better as a booker. I want my crew to be, it could be 12 guys or 10 guys and 2 girls is going to be the best, period. Like I wanted to bring the group to other companies as just a group. Yeah. Here's my top 10 guys. You give me your top 10. And we'll just we'll have a night. We'll just see. And at the end of the night, we'll all shake hands. Of course, it'd be like 5-5, and then we'd have a big something, you know. Yeah. That was ultimately that was the ultimate like goal. Was I know season 2, like I've had a couple of guys go, well, what would you have done? I'm like, oh, I would have started inviting ACW, RCW, PWA. I would have been like, let's see who's
get
the
every
best.
Fan.
Everything we could possibly get. But back to ACW as far as what was the were there major differences as far as just the mood of the locker rooms at RCW versus ACW? Having been both?
Definitely. There was a lot stricter in RCW. I mean,
because they're running like a 2-hour kind of. I mean, they may have a number of matches, but we've got this structure.
We've got this set.
And Brandon's pretty. I mean, I've only worked with Brandon maybe at one show. I think we had him for one TCW show, and it was kind of he might take over as far as booking and such. Yeah. But yeah, I would think he would be more 2 hours in and out, whereas ACW is a like 6-hour, 7-hour marathon of a not bad shows once they get start. I mean, once they get rolling, like you get the main event section after that second intermission, and it becomes like this. Holy crap! I was like,
it's a build. You know, I never noticed people really leave early.
No.
It only gets bigger throughout the night. Yeah. People might wander in late, but you know, it's kind of the ACW crowd is more than just a wrestling crowd. You know, it's like I think they've developed their crowd just from how the spot they're in. Yeah. I mean, the Mohawk is a great. I love.
No, I mean from an aesthetic. From an aesthetic standpoint, I mean, just even from, I always look at like camera angles. Just the idea that you got fans like overhead, you got fans like on a stage, you got fans like kind of lining the floor to some degree, and it's not the most. It's gotten better, I guess. I haven't been there really. I think I went one prom.
There's a lot of room for innovation there.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like crazy outside spots go, you know.
Yeah.
I mean. Last show was the first time I ever dove out of the ring there because like there's just not a lot of room.
There's really not a lot of room.
But guys get slammed on the stage. Guys are jumping off the balconies sometimes. You know, I mean, it's a great bar show. You know, it's a great environment for the craziness. You know?
Well, so like for you because again now you go into a situation with ACW where you can't necessarily be Steve McEnroe. Right. It's like when you came to RCW, you couldn't necessarily be that beginning, this thing you coveted, and then you take Steve McEnroe and make it this almost legend status. I mean, again, you see the Crimson Mask, you see some of the wipeouts you did, kind of like the Don't Die Steve, and you just
it was exactly that.
Yeah. I mean, again, I would watch some of those video wires and just be like blown away because again, it was just. You just gained so much momentum then to be the champion and be the champion for as long as you had been. And now to go to ACW where it's basically starting over because you can't
It was
utilize Steve McEnroe, nor can you utilize anything you've done previously. Maybe Steve Payton to some degree,
nothing,
but not even
nothing I had done before.
yeah, like
counted.
a completely
Nothing I had done
rewrite.
before counted when I went to ACW.
I
can say that.
Kind of like Daniel Bryan coming to WWE.
Yeah.
Bryan Danielson, like ND.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you get there and it's like, buddy, what you've accomplished doesn't matter. I think that's what a lot of
That's why
people,
they changed their names.
Yeah,
right?
I think that
It's only like a starting new thing.
unless they have like Punk, unless they're like, well, no, that's gonna get you through. That makes you different. But like Daniel Bryan, well, you look like. I mean, when he first started, he looked, clean cut and all that.
Steve O Reno is too over of a name for them not to keep, so I'm pretty confident in that.
Okay, so how was that transition for you, like early on? Because
it was like a good learning experience, It's funny. Steve came along in ACW. It feels like WCW.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about some of the man named Steve. I'm waiting.
Right.
We got to get into that. Yeah,
but I knew that I was going to be booked for this ACW show, and I didn't know what Darren had in mind for me, but I was driving up with Matthew Palmer to a few of the RCW shows, and one time, I brought it up, hey, it was actually Saturday at an RCW show that we drove there and drove back, and the whole way back I was like, what am I going to do tomorrow? Because ACW was the next day, and I didn't know what I was going to do, and so me and Palmer came up with a million different ideas, like one I never did was Steve Seagal, where I was I just came out as Steve Seagal. But
do all the
we came out with a million different ideas, and he's like, well, one of them was going to stick to
Matthew, God, he's just a great talent.
He is
that
awesome.
guy's,
I love picking his brain.
Yeah, he's from the centerfold stuff, like that American Psycho gimmick that he was doing around. It was one of the proms that I went to, and
I think the first ACW show I ever went to was when he almost set Robert Evans on fire. I think that was the
heard
first,
about that one.
I think that was the first ACW show I ever went to.
That's the one that caught so much buzz. Like that prom show I went to, I'll never forget the evening gown match. It was like Sarah Del Rey didn't want to be in it, and then they dressed her only to undress her.
I would have killed to meet her.
Yeah, and then Jessica James turned to Lady Poison. Just in the in the
middle of the match.
Oh my God! Everybody, and it was just one of those things where you just see, like Jessica. I think she's such a talent because she just on a switch flipped it, and then it was just a look and just the mannerisms, and then you got like Matthew Palmer coming out, and then I remember like Rachel Winsett and
that's way harder than anything I've ever done.
No, she just
like Jessica can.
Yeah, just
Jessica
on a
and
switch.
Poison are like yin and yang.
Man.
She can turn one off and just man.
So as you progress through it, I mean, you're gaining your traction and you're doing like different gimmicks. In essence, every show you were just trying to find your way, like what worked best, what got the best reaction. I know the man called Steve, right?
I got to the show that next day, and I had a bag full of gear. Like I didn't know what to do.
You just went for.
I had masked gear. I had I had every bit of gear I had. And Darren told me, we came up with all these ideas. Palmer told me you had all these great ideas, so you're gonna be the guy that like is trying to find yourself. And like,
nice,
And it kind of was a play. I mean, it wasn't. I don't like to think of it as like a shoot on RCW, but it was kind of like it was kind of Steve, shoot Steve, like Steve had gone through changing characters all these times, throughout the years. I mean, when I got to ACW, I'd already been wrestling like 4 or 5 years. 4.5, I think. And but I was always something different, And now this was like, I tell people, Steve in ACW is like the realest character in wrestling right now because it's a shoot on my real life. You know? Like, I don't know what I want to be, and I mean, this is real. Like, still to this day, like, you know, there's a lot of guys with long hair like me that look like me, and I just, like, I refuse to be the same. I refuse to just do the same moves as everybody else. Like, the Shining Wizard's, like, one of my favorite wrestling moves, but when I was coming up, like, especially at the shows I was going to, I saw one, like, every 10 times a show, you know? It was, like, sick. So, I do things that no one else is doing. Like, I try to stand out in every way possible. I even got, like, a new way I get into the ring now. I climb the post like a spider. And like, it's just my own little thing. You know? I got it from watching some Japanese movie. Okay. Spider-Man, like, this crazy Spider-Man climbs up a tree, and I'm like, that's sick. I want to do that. But I just refuse to be the same, just because, like, I don't want to. I want to stand out. I want to separate myself, even though I'm not the biggest or the strongest. You know. So each time I came out with something different, and you kind of got carried away. I started to, like, tone down the gimmicks and stuff. Like, at one point I was Screwstin Steve, and I was like, well, what happened was I would come out in a gimmick, and then after the show I would ask a new wrestler for advice, you know. And a couple times it was Ricky Starks, and he was like, embrace where you come from, you know. So I was Shooter Steve. Nice. Well, Shooter Steve was my amateur wrestler. 6-Shooter Steve was my cowboy. Nice. And then he told me, you know, get more detailed, you know. How about, like, instead of just your state, what about your city? So I was Screwstin Steve, and I came out in a, you know, Screwstin hat, my DJ Screw shirt, and I came out to draped up and dripped out. And, but just everything about that gimmick failed. Like, I had a big money chain, and it ripped as I got into the, like, it was doomed for failure. It caught on the rope and it broke. And then the grill that I bought, I couldn't talk with it in. So, like, I had to take it out every time I wanted to say something. And then I had a gun in my back pocket that I took out and pulled on Mr. B, and that fell out of the back of my pants. Like, everything about it failed, you know? And so, like, I learned how to be entertaining and do the gimmicky stuff I wanted to do without going overboard. Okay. You found the cliff. You found the edge of the cliff. I mean, you can see it sometimes. You know, when you go to a show and guys want to do haha or kind of beyond the normal wrestling, but it's too much. You know what I mean? You know me. I love to be funny, and I love to, like I said, stand out. But like, experimenting with all those gimmicks made me a little smarter. You know? Like, less is more, like you said. You know, so like. And it only got better after that, you know? Like, there was not a lot to the man they called Steve except the paint, and instead of having all these props, I just did Sting's moves, and it got over more than anything I did. You know? And it was funny, because I did all these gimmicks, and Sting was my GBA. Guilty by Association is their Mania of the year, you know, the show. So I said, I gotta do something big. So I dressed up like Sting, and got the black and white paint and everything. And then that whole next month I was a wreck. I was like, what am I going to do better than that? Like, I can't top Sting. And I think I did. Everyone told me it was my best one. I did Weekend at Jameson's, which was a Weekend at Bernie's ripoff. And I was, the story was that I was depressed that I had lost, at GBA, I had lost my shot at the tag titles. So I was hanging out with Jack Jameson and getting drunk, and I was too incoherent to wrestle. So Jack Jameson and Scotty Santiago, my partner, carried me out to the Weekend at Bernie's music and put me in the ring. And Scotty proceeded to just wrestle that whole match on his own. And like, but I was in the corner the whole time, and he would move me around and throw me in the different moves. And it was better than my Sting performance. It was like my finest work without doing anything. Nice. I felt brilliant after that, you know. And then the next show I came out as me, and I think it was a great story because it kind of showed that Steve had it all Steve needed to be was Steve. Real good stuff, man. 2 shows later, we won the tag belts, and we've been tag champs for about 2
And y'all
beat
Darren and Paul.
We beat Darren Childs and Paul London for the belts.
How was that? How was being at the ring with Paul? I mean, I've been in the ring with Paul. I've been knocked out. I've been sent to the hospital.
Really?
Dude, he's one of the stiffest guys I've ever been in the ring. He
seen him kick some dudes pretty hard.
One of our shows,
separated his shoulder actually.
One of our shows, it was like early in our career, and they kind of told us to be out there and be first, and I think we both kind of took offense because at that point we didn't realize.
Oh my God!
We
were Paul London.
Well, but we were like 6-7 months in, so it was kind of It wasn't it wasn't like if we showed
up.
That's
a mega main event on my show.
And we thought that's how we thought, and we're facing each other, so we're like, oh man, we're gonna do some stuff. And in the midst of it, he gives me a kick, and I don't remember anything else. We were at practice one night. It was me, him, and Darren. It was kind of early, and we were going through spots, and he just crowds me, and he elbows me like right in the face, and like I had like 5 stitches, had to go to the emergency, like Darren drove me. So, but with all that being said,
that happened.
Paul's a hell of a guy. And really one of the most just athletically gifted, just graceful, like body control.
I was such a fan of his.
So what was it like getting to face him for titles in a title match? I
can say that was one of my first experiences with a WWE name. Other than Hernandez, I had never worked a name before. You know, but he had come back to town. Like he moved back to town about a year prior.
Okay.
And I was helping him at George's train students.
Okay.
He kind of took on his own class, and when George wasn't training, he took those off days, and Paul had his own class. You know, still does, but he runs out of Rudy Boys in San Antonio.
Okay.
But for a while, I was pretty much his assistant trainer.
That's cool, man.
I kind of helped everybody, helped all of his students learn how to bump, and kind of went through there. And when we did have time, after a while, he saw that I wanted to, do some of the stuff on my own, and he helped me learn a lot of stuff that I didn't know before that, Started doing backflips for the first time.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And so he helped me a lot, and it was kind of a trade-off. I'd help him, he'd help me. Helps me get on a few shows somewhere. It was a good, getting to meet him, and like he made a point to show his appreciation to me, and it was really cool. Really cool guy, And I think he kind of saw my frustration because I kind of left ROW and RCW at the same time.
Okay.
And those were kind of like my 2 big places to work. You know? And so he kind of saw my frustration, and I think he kind of threw me a bone and gave me that match, and then it was our first title shot, and we lost, and then 2 months later we won the belts, and it's just been really, really cool guy. Wish he was still here, he's just training down in San Antonio now. Rudy Boy helping out there. So hope I can train with him some more.
Man, definitely.
We kind of lost touch recently, so I only see him at the shows now. But
okay.
I'm still doing good.
Cool, man. Good. Now, by the time this airs, Inspire Pro would have happened. How long have you been working with Inspire Pro?
About 6 months.
Okay. How's that been for you? How is that different from ACW? Because I know there's a lot of similarities to some degree. As far as guys who've been in the back, but how's that locker room?
Yeah, we didn't get too much into the difference between the RCW and ACW, but those 3 are all different. I was gonna say RCW, Sean and Brandon and Joey Spector. And those guys, they're all trying to fine-tune their students, So a lot of the show is their students. And anyone who's not a student kind of gets,
well, because they're just trying to develop. They're trying to develop their guys.
ACW, now with Paul's students, there's kind of the same thing. He just had a showcase at the last show with his students.
Okay.
And it was good. It's George's way, throwing you out there as soon as you can. The best experiences.
Yeah, just get thrown in
Match
it. See if you can,
best way to get better is match experience.
Yeah.
I feel like George threw me out there way before I was ready. You know, but that's just more experience for me.
Yeah.
So and then ACW is kind of even more free range, which I think is good.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of match structure and the Fed style, which is the greatest style to tell stories and make money,
Yeah.
I learned that at Booker's, and I learned how to tell the best story in the short amount of time.
Yeah, because he's real meticulous and real particular about it being. We had to, just by design, had to treat it like, dude, this is television, and it's short, it's to the point, and there is no room to. You just got to throw away all the stuff that's kind of. We all kind of like to do. I mean, there's certain things that, oh man, with a longer match, you could stretch it out a bit,
And that's what ACW was for. That's where I could
just kind of
toy around and experiment and do the things I wanted to do that I can't get over somewhere else. Fully. I mean,
what gives you a good chance to workshop
express
stuff?
myself at Booker's also, but I really got to show what I had, at ACW and Inspire too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I was starting over in Inspire, but what the story was that they paired me up with this guy Bradley Axel Dawson from MPX.
Okay.
And we were going to be the Hollywood Knives. We were the Hollywood Knives,
Okay.
And we had this great story. We had this great gimmick planned out. We had these pharaoh headdresses, and we were going to reveal that we were the greatest tag team, and we had the greatest gimmick of all time.
Okay.
But we never got around to revealing it because my partner would get knocked out before every match. The first time he got attacked with a chain, he got knocked in the back of the head with a chain. And then the second time, another guy pulled him off the apron and threw him into the post, and he was knocked out. But then the times after that, he kept knocking himself out. He would trip on something, or
before the great reveal, it'd always be something.
He would trip on something, or
slip on the stairs.
Banana peel, something.
Nice.
And
blatant banana peel.
Yeah, and so for about 4 or 5 months, I was in handicap matches, pretty much.
Okay.
And I kept winning, and I built a lot of momentum, and that's when I really got to show what I had,
Yeah.
I mean, when you got to fight two guys, you really got to pull some stuff out, I mean, it's either you're a convincing warrior or you're not, I think I did a pretty good job, So eventually, the last show, I lost.
Okay.
I was wrestling this group called the Orphans, and if you can think of the Warriors, they're kind of a street gang.
Okay. No, that's cool.
They're a street gang that all wear maroon. And,
Okay.
I wrestled two brothers, DG and Zach Taylor, who, if you haven't seen them,
I haven't.
be ready to hear about them, because they're two brothers who are constantly in the ring training.
Okay.
I mean, they're always in there with me.
Pretty hungry and such, yeah.
So I wrestled them in probably my best match there.
Okay.
Did a lot of things I've wanted to do for a while. I hit a missile drop kick and an elbow at the same time.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that got really good reaction.
I think visually I know that.
Yeah, and I hit a lot of double team moves on them,
Okay.
that got a lot of good reaction.
Okay.
And then Sky De La Cremosa ran out, who was the third member of their group.
Oh, I do think I did see that.
So not only was I wrestling a handicap, but I got triple teamed pretty much.
Yeah.
Got pinned. And the last couple times I've won, my partner Bradley is always happens to come to just as our music plays, and he has a big celebration while I'm clenching my
he's taking
wound,
all the board.
Yeah. So this last time he jumps up and celebrates, but we lost. So he gets in the ring and Sure enough, he attacks me.
Oh, wow.
And gets on the microphone and talks about how he's done all the work and how dare I lay on my back and just give up and take the pin like that.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
And so he lays into me more. He's a pretty big guy, and he gave me a frog splash off the top, and I bounced off the mat. It was so impactful. You
Wow.
know? And to top off everything I had gone through before that, I had just drawn like the ultimate sympathy from that crowd. And by the time I was able to like pull myself up to my feet, I looked up and everyone was on their feet. Like,
Wow.
I had the crowd standing. Second match of the night, I had standing ovation.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, and I walked to the back. Well, Jojo Bravo was doing commentary on the match, and as I'm walking back towards the ramp and everyone's clapping, Jojo meets me on the ramp, gives me a big hug for like all the like. I guess I just got everybody into it. You know?
Man.
Like, and he gave me a big hug, and the crowd popped even more because they love JoJo.
Nice.
And as I get to the back and I sit down on the stairs that the ramp is on, and the crowd starts a "Steve is awesome" chant, and
Nice,
I
man.
almost lost it. Like,
No, man, that's.
I can't say I've gotten a better reaction for a match than
good
I had
stuff, man, yeah.
that show.
Yeah.
So it only builds up this next show so much more.
Mm-hmm.
It's Battle Wars, and they're bringing in
Chikara.
a lot of the Chikara guys like Icarus and the Colony, and I'm wrestling Dasher Hatfield and a mystery opponent. And the rumor is it's another Chikara guy. So
Really?
I'm really pumped.
Cool,
'Cause anyone who like personally knows me, I don't know if you know, like
Yeah.
Chikara is a aspiration of mine.
Okay,
Like,
okay. No, I can see that.
I'm full of ideas for Chikara.
Right.
Like, I'm confident enough to know that I would fit right in there. So
if they were like, here you go.
yeah, I'm
Take a
hoping
dance
to,
or
you know,
something.
get my foot in the door with some of those guys
Mhm.
and like, you know, show them that I could, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
fit right in there. I mean, it's not Ring of Honor, it's not WWE, but like it's where I think I could hone my skills the best, you know.
Yeah, yeah, because it's real, you know, performance-based.
Yeah.
And kind of, you know, again, being
It's
kind of
out
of
there.
your, yeah,
and
being
that's
out of
me
your comfort
to the
zone.
T.
So what do you like to watch as far as wrestling goes? What do you watch the mainstream stuff, or do you find yourself more to the Chikara or more to like Japan, or is there something like you go out of your way to watch?
I try to stay pretty mixed, you know.
Okay.
I mean, I'd have to say majority I watch, you know, WWE. I'm slowly starting to get into NXT. I'm a big fan of
Yeah, man.
NXT and
That
just how hungry those guys are.
Yeah, we were
Just,
watching,
like, stand out.
yeah.
Just like me, go, you know, refuse to be the same. Like
Yeah.
they're going above and beyond just to do new stuff. You know,
Yeah.
it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn's one of my inspirations.
Yeah.
I got to meet him at ACW one time and pick his brain and stuff.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, so that was really cool.
What kind of advice did he give you as far as?
I actually asked him about Chikara and everything, you know, and him and Robert Evans kind of gave me the same advice. They wrestled each other that show, and I got to talk to both of them. And, you know, they said, don't expect to, you know, just get booked for one show, because Quackenbush, you know, plans stuff way far in ahead. And
Oh, that's
obviously
cool,
I
man.
can see that.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of not doing a good job, but been saving up to try to move up there and just enroll in their Wrestle Factory. You
Oh
know?
wow, okay.
Yeah.
When do you
And
do you have a?
Cesaro's another guy I love to watch, and he used to be a trainer there. You know.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, cool, man.
Yeah, I like to watch. You know, I work during the week now, so I try to catch. And I don't have the network, but I go over. I watch it when I can. You know,
Oh, wow.
Raw and SmackDown and NXT, and I watch a lot of Chikara, Japan. I mean.
Mhm.
I haven't been watching it as much as I used to, but like when I first discovered what Japanese wrestling was, I looked and found everything I could find. You
Mhm.
know, I love the current New Japan
Okay.
roster, and it's almost like the current New Japan. It's almost like watching the Fed style. You know, like if you've seen those guys enough, they have the same kind of style. You know?
Yeah,
Great mix of just their moves, you know. Just so much back and forth, the great like stories they tell.
yeah.
And even old wrestling, the old classics like Misawa and Kumada, those guys. I'm a big Stan Hansen fan.
Oh yeah, man.
I have like an 8-disc Stan Hansen set.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So is that most of his Japan stuff?
Yeah, it's all Japan stuff.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Guy's was like a god over there.
Yeah, and
or not
I
like
worked with
he was.
JoJo for 2 years.
Okay.
He got me into Japanese wrestling, and just this last week we were watching some incredible Japanese women. Io Shirai was one of them.
Okay.
Gosh, those girls, like, I want to say it's almost too much, but it's like not. It's not for them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing some incredible stuff. I watch Lucha when I can. To get ready for the show, I've been watching like Chikara almost every day. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just try to stay mixed. You know.
Okay.
Watch everything.
Do you have to wrestle a lot of women at ACW? Because they have
I've only had to wrestle one girl in ACW.
Really?
And that was my ex-girlfriend. About a month after we broke up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really? What was
So that was
What was that? What was that
favorite
like?
booking.
What was that like?
It was interesting. I mean, not only did I do another gimmick that completely failed, Disco Steve.
Okay.
Bought an afro that didn't fit. The mustache wouldn't stay on. I had another chain that broke again.
So this was after. This was after the other.
This was after Screwston Steve.
Okay.
And not only that, but I was going to come out to Bee Gees, and that didn't work. Like I came out to Disco Steve came out to Silence, so like that was the worst part of it.
Wow, dude.
And then
yeah,
and then she got her music and everything. And, we actually had a really good match. I mean, we planned it out really well.
Was it?
It was fun.
Was it a tough? Was it a tough breakup in the sense of the match itself was kind of therapeutic because you kind of worked through stuff, or?
I mean, I don't know if there was much to work through.
Okay.
I mean, it was nerve-wracking up until that day. You know,
Okay.
The whole time I was just, why?
Yeah.
Why? Like, oh. But we actually had a really awesome match, and we even kind of like tried to make it a little real. She, you know, was beating me down in the corner, and she talked about, you know, something. That's why I left you, you know, something like that. Why don't you hit me? Why don't you do something? And we got a good reaction from the crowd.
Nice.
That's when I started to lay in there, you know, because, you know, I can't be discriminative. I have to hit, you know. I have to treat her like I would treat you or anyone else in the ring, you know.
And
Plus, she's
tough.
not afraid to hit a guy.
Yeah,
so
she's pretty tough.
Yeah,
she's pretty tough.
So yeah, it was and she was happy with it. I was happy with it. You know, it was therapeutic in a way, I guess.
Man. Yeah.
You know, but we didn't have a bad breakup, so it wasn't like. But in the back of my head, I wasn't sure how the breakup was gonna affect me in ACW.
Yeah.
But it only went up from there. You know?
Okay.
So I mean, I've had a lot of fun there and everywhere I've worked. You know, wrestling's just fun, man.
Good, man. So what do you do? You going to Wizard World?
I haven't bought a ticket, but I want to.
Okay.
I want to go.
Okay.
Mainly, I just want to try to like get some bookings up north, you know, or in Florida.
Because you have gone out of state here and there, right?
Only once, really.
Okay.
I went to Slam U in Arizona.
Okay.
Which was really cool, but I don't know if they're having another show. I mean, you got to meet a lot of guys from there, and you know, even just one out-of-state trip. You know, I mean, I know for a guy that's been wrestling, as long as I have, I need to go out more.
Yeah.
So I know that's a fault of mine that I need to work on, and that's what 2015 is aimed for. Just getting out of Texas. I mean, after this year, I've worked all the best places, you know, and it's time to just
kind of go
branch out, you know.
Yeah.
Just that one show I worked in Arizona, I got to meet guys from, you know, Arizona and Philly and like some guys from Florida were there, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of lucha guys, you know, guys from El Paso. So
And then
it's only going to go up from there, you know, the more I go out.
And with Inspire, I guess they have an NWA tie-in, so you could probably...
Yeah, I've been working a lot of NWA affiliated shows too. NWA 360 in Temple. Inspire has just reached a agreement with...
Yeah.
What did I say, Inspire first? Yeah, NWA Inspire. They've both come to terms with... Yeah, and just started working in Branded Outlaw.
How's that? How's Branded Outlaw?
It's a little weird because it's in the same building that I almost died in RCW.
Wow.
They're running out of the same building now.
Okay.
So like my first show back was a little eerie. Like, I've almost lost my life twice in that building, so it was a little weird, but I had a good reception, good response, you know.
Okay.
Jax Dane is like one of those guys that, you know, he's a curveball because he's one of the nicest guys, you know.
Yeah.
But he looks like he'll rip your head off.
Yeah.
You know. But he got to come to George's, come to the ring, and kind of watch me teach the kids, and I think he had an all new respect for me, and then just booked me.
Okay.
Then, you know, and yeah, I'm. And you might know this, but I haven't always been the most confident guy, and I'm always the guy that's like, oh, I assume everybody doesn't like me.
Yeah.
I assume everybody hates me or something, you know. Especially big guys like Jax. I mean, I'm not in the shape he's in, you know. I'm not nowhere near like bodybuilding shape, you know. Guys like Carson, I mean, I can't stand next to him and compare bodies, but like, and I think that people don't respect me enough for that, you know. But like, the more I've gotten to show people my skill, I've kind of just proven myself wrong. Everyone that I thought wouldn't appreciate me is booking me. I mean, I thought Darren used to hate me, and he's pushed me to the moon lately, you know. I mean, like, tag champs, you know, same thing with Sean in RCW, who ended up, you know, giving me a lot of opportunities too. You know? So the more I get out there, the more I'm proving myself wrong, you know. So it's cool.
Well, man, good luck at Inspire. I mean, the Shakara thing.
Yeah, I'm super pumped for that.
For no other reason than to just kind of throw out that feeler too, like to see what. I mean, I'm sure you're going to impress, dude. Every time I've thrown you in something, I know from a booking standpoint, every time I've thrown you in something, it's always been gold. You know, it's always been a pretty top notch.
Gold.
Yeah, the golden scepter.
And I always remember, I was just like, back when we had those IWE after parties.
No, the after parties are the one thing I truly miss about just...
But I was always the guy, like, huddled around the computer, asking Jay to put my match back on. Shuffling through it, watching it over and over again. I was that guy, you know. Yeah, well, everybody else is just enjoying the party, Steve's watching his match, you know. I'm still like that, you know. But yeah, man. Well, cool, man. Well, good luck, and thanks for having me, big bro. Man. Always a pleasure, man. Because now I really got to pee.